A pleasant good afternoon. It's my immense pleasure to welcome every one of you to this open public Vivos examination, PG and Research Department of Computer Science, Raja Sarboji Government College, Tanjavur. Now I am happy to introduce the external examiner in this August occasion, a vibrant and dynamic leading personality in computer science, Dr. S. Nicholas, Professor, Department of Computer Applications, National Institute of Technology, Trichy. Sir is a versatile academician having 33 years of teaching experience, 14 years of research experience, and 10 years of research administrative experiences. Sir has organized a number of national and international seminars, workshops, and conferences. Sir has produced 9 PhD research scholars, and he is serving as subject expert and member of different academic and advisory bodies in various higher educational institutions. Added feathers to his crown, recently Sir's major project proposal on big data analytics has been sanctioned with rupees 29.26 lakhs by the Department of Science and Technology, DST India. Having such an active person as our external examiner is a great thing. So on my behalf and on our college administrators' behalf, I take this opportunity to express our hearty welcome to Dr. S. Nicholas sir for conducting this PhD public Vivos examination. I am honored and elated to welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
It's my prime duty to welcome my beloved principals who have graced this meeting through online mode. Dr. Senthamil Selvi ma'am, Raja Sarboji Government College, Tanjavur, which is my parent institution, and Dr. K. Gunasekharan sir, Government Arts and Science College, Kuttalam, Mayiladurai, which is my deputed college of work by the Tamil Nadu government. It's a glorious moment for me to extend my heartfelt gratitude and warm welcome to my MPhil guide, Professor A. Charles, Head of the Department of Computer Science and Associate Professor, and my PhD guide, Dr. S. Albert Rabrera, former Vice Principal and Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. I heartily welcome all my friends, learned professors, faculty members from IT industries, faculty members from other colleges. I feel proud to welcome Dr. K. Mohan Smart sir, the head of the Department of Computer Science, heads of the other departments, my fellow colleagues, faculty members of teaching and non-teaching, Raja Sarboji Government College, Tanjavur, and as well as Government Arts and Science College, Kuttalam. I do welcome the pillars of the society, the research scholars, PG students, UG students, for whom this session will be more interesting to step further in future. Now I take this moment to introduce my PhD candidate and her research work. Mrs. D. Christie Sujata is a part-time PhD candidate of Bharatdas University, registered during October 2016 in PG and Research Department of Computer Science, Raja Sarboji Government College, Tanjavur. The candidate received MC and MPhil degrees from Bharatdas University and MTech degree from Periyar Maniamma University. She has 20 years of teaching experience, and other than this research work, the candidate has published more than 30 papers in the peer-reviewed national and international journals and conferences and has got 32 citations so far. Her core research area is the big data analytics. With so much of data all around us, big data analytics is rapidly becoming one of the most prominent domains across every industry, because researchers in the field of this technology are constantly working on how to use this data most appropriately. Therefore, an analysis of this data can help gain useful insights and make immediate and important future decisions regarding a business or any technological improvement. The candidate has progressed her research work by narrow downing from big data analytics to predictive analytics and then to streaming data analytics. She has identified the issues and challenges in streaming data analytics and concentrated on 3 of the issues: concept drift, overfitting, and resource optimization. Her research of literature study includes more than 100 references. She has designed an efficient framework and implemented her proposed framework in our tool and proved the efficiency too. Related to this PhD research work, the candidate has published 6 papers in well-reputed research forums. Of these 6 papers, 1 paper is published as a book chapter in Scopus Indexed Springer book series. 2 papers are presented in the IEEE conferences and they are published in IEEE Explorer with Scopus Indexed. 2 papers are published in Scopus Indexed journals and 1 paper is published in UGC's journal. These 6 papers have 10 citations so far. And to tell about the evaluation of the thesis, all the 3 examiners have well appreciated. With all these credentials, I wish the candidate to successfully present her thesis and defend her work with the queries raised by the participants. Finally, I extend my warm and hearty welcome to you all. Now once again, I want to remind you, all the participants, except the external examiner and the scholar, to mute your audio and video. Thank you. And external examiner, sir, now I wish you to invite to conduct the public viva voce examination as per the rules and regulations of our University. Sir, please, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Let me welcome Ms. Christy Sujata to present her research findings to the online participants. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. It's my pleasure to present my PhD viva voce in this Google Meet. At this time, I would like to say my sincere thanks to the principal, Sarfoji College, and HOD CS department, and my research supervisor, and my DC members, my reviewers, and external examiner. My research title is An Efficient Ensemble Meta-Learning Framework for Streaming Data Analytics. This is my presentation outline. My broad area of research is big data analytics. Nowadays, digital data is dominating the entire world. Every day it is being incrementing because we are always using smart devices, IoT devices, and social media. So from these devices, every day the data is generating. This data is becoming very huge, very large in size. And such a voluminous data is possessing lots and lots of valuable information inside it. It will be useful only if you are able to retrieve those valuable information from the data set. And big data analytics is a technique in order to retrieve that valuable information, which is basically of 3 types: descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. In descriptive analytics, from the existing data, we can analyze and we can say what has happened in the past. In predictive analytics, we can say what will happen in future. In prescriptive analytics, we can say what decision we can make, what action to take. And this data may be of 2 types, either stored data or streaming data. Stored data is storing in a database, streaming data is continuously arriving data. And this may be of 3 formats: structured data, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Structured is, it has rows and columns as we used in traditional database management system. Unstructured data is, it will be of audio, video, picture, like that. Semi-structured is XML data type. And in my research work, I have taken streaming data. The difference between stored and streaming data is, in stored data, before applying analytics, it is able to have the entire data in the database. It will be in our hand. It is also called as offline analytics. And we need a secondary memory. Unlimited secondary memory is needed in order to store the entire data. And it is able to scan again and again the stored data. But the data distribution is static here. Whereas in streaming data analytics, we cannot have the entire data at the beginning. We are able to process only subset of data. It is either it can be done in online mode or in offline mode. And no need to go for secondary memory, only limited main memory is enough. We cannot scan the data again and again. Only one pass. We can scan the data and it goes out, and next batch come in, it goes out. And the data distribution is dynamic here. And in predictive analytics, it is able to retrieve the information either with the help of machine learning or with the help of statistical techniques. I go with this machine learning, which is basically of two types, supervised learning and unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, the output is available. We know what the output is. So based on the output, we can categorize into two things, classification and regression. In classification, with the help of the output, we can classify it into various classes, and if a new data, and we can build a model. When a new data is passed to the model, we can predict that data belong to which class. Similarly, in regression, we can find the relationship between predictor variable and target variable. With that model, we can say what is the, we can analyze, we can predict the output for the given new input. Whereas in unsupervised learning, we don't know what the output is. So it is grouped. Similar objects will be grouped. Clustering is one of the unsupervised learnings. Here I go with supervised learning. The motivation for my research work is available data is 80% of data is unstructured and semi-structured. And it is all the devices, social media, sensor, IoT devices, everything is generating this data. It is becoming increasing. So the companies, they are moving towards the streaming data analytics because it is able to get the data instantly. Whereas in stored data, we have to wait. And the model we have to build should be dynamic. It has to be adaptable with the newly incoming data because data distribution in the newly coming data is varies. So it is a challenge. Building the model in streaming data is a challenging one. So I prefer this title. And this is my research flow. Broad areas, big data analytics. From that, I have chosen predictive analytics. From that, machine learning, and then classification and regression. And in classification, I chose decision tree and regression, and I chose Lasso. My research aim is designing and developing a streaming data analytics framework to predict the future outcome with enhanced accuracy. And these are my research objectives, that is finding research issues and finding the merits and limits of existing one, designing an excellent, efficient framework, and developing algorithm for that, implementing, testing, and finding analysis, performance analysis. And for this, I did my literature survey in 4 focus. In my first research focus, I did what are the research issues and challenges of streaming data analytics. And in my second focus, what are the classification algorithms available? In my third research focus, I observed what are the merits and limitation of existing algorithm. In the fourth one, I surveyed what are the performance metrics used by various authors in order to prove their model to be efficient. And this is the output of my first research focus. And here I observed concept drift is followed by 42% of researchers, and then resource optimization is by 24%, distributed and parallel system is by 20%, overfitting by 8%, class imbalance is 6% of authors. They focused on these research issues. Apart from this, some other issues is also there, handling heterogeneous data, overcoming data dependence, like that. So from this, I have chosen concept drift because concept drift is a major problem in streaming data. Concept drift is very changes in data distribution, and we have to find the adaptable model for the newly incoming. This is a major one, so I chose this. And I used resource optimization, and I reducing memory and execution time. And another issue I have taken is overfitting, underfitting issue, because this is a major issue, but most of the authors did not follow this. This is a major one to give a predictive accuracy, good predictive accuracy. And in concept drift, there are 4 types. One is sudden drift. That is the value suddenly it changes. In gradual drift, the value goes up, comes down, goes up, and like that. In incremental drift, it is continuously growing. In recurring drift, the distribution comes again. So in my research work, I chose gradual drift. And this is underfitting, overfitting issue. In this diagram, x-axis predictor variable is there, y-axis output variable is there, green dots are data sets, and the line is a data model. In underfitting model, the model is very strict to the data set. So there will be more training error as well as testing error. But in overfitting, it is very flexible to all the data set. So training error is less, testing error will be more. So both underfitting as well as overfitting is not good one. Optimal fitting is needed in order to give good accuracy, prediction accuracy. And this is my second output of my research focus. What are the classification algorithms used by researcher? Here I observed ensemble algorithm, regression, and ensemble algorithm and coefficient tree, they are used by most of the authors. And then regression, it was used. And neural network, KNN, SVM, Navy Bayes networks are used by less number of authors. Here coefficient tree, most of the authors used for streaming data because it is very suitable for streaming data. And in my research work, I used coefficient tree, ensemble, and regression. Ensemble techniques is, it is using more than one base learners to give the prediction. If it is single classifier means we can get the output only from one model. In ensemble, there are two types. One is bagging, boosting. In bagging, parallelly from various base learners, it is trained and it gives the output, and final output is obtained through by calculating average. Whereas in boosting, sequential order it will do. Output of one model is given to another, and then another, it will be a sequential one. In my work, I have done in bagging approach. And this is coefficient tree or very fast decision tree. And this is an extension of a decision tree which was introduced by Domingos et al. During 2000. It is an incremental learning algorithm. Here the authors used to coefficient bound. They have proved, they took a sample and they proved the output response for the particular sample is equal to the output obtained for the whole data, because in streaming data we cannot have the whole data at our hand. So they used this method. This was successful, and most of the authors modified this algorithm, because this algorithm has various limitations in it. Most of the authors tried to modify those algorithms. So I too modified, and various limitations are unnecessary tree growth, consuming more time for updation, overfitting. It has overfitting issue, unable to handle concept drift. It has user-defined threshold value for tie breaking. I have applied the first four limitations. And the regression, it is especially used for continuous real values. It finds out the relationship between dependent and independent, that is predictor variable and target variable. Here the limitations are, it has underfitting and it is sensitive to outliers. Outliers is anomalous values. And it has various types like linear, multilinear, ridge regression, lasso, and elastic net. In my work, I used lasso regression. And these are some of the, this is the output of finding merits and demerits of classification algorithms. More than 75 algorithms I surveyed and found and observed various merits and demerits. So only 5 I'm showing here. And my related work is, one of the paper is MetaBags. Here the author, they used ensemble approach for regression. And he finds the final value with by finding average of each learner. Here the problem is he didn't concentrate on overfitting, so the accuracy, prediction accuracy is less here. And he used traditional normal classifiers in this ensemble approach, so it occupies more memory. Because in ensemble approach, we have to use a less memory based learner. And this is another related work, strict very fast decision tree. This author Victor Wilhelm et al. During 2018, he modified this by reducing the size of the coefficient tree. Here in VFDT, that is in coefficient tree, do not bother about concept drift. He didn't, this author, he did not add any algorithm for a concept drift here. So this algorithm, though the size of the coefficient tree is reduced, it did not concentrate on concept drift. It did not identify concept drift. And the third one is extremely fast decision tree, which was introduced by Chaitanya et al. During 2018. And it is a speedy algorithm. It is speedily, it learns the data set. It revisits by revisiting and replacing the node. And it is also not adaptable with the concept drift. And there is an additional cost due to complexity of the algorithm, because it replacing and revisiting and replacing concept. And this is my fourth focus, research focus. What are the performance metrics used by various authors, like prediction accuracy, learning time, error rate, root mean squared error, tree size, that is for memory size, and scalability. And this is the research gap I found. In ensemble, I observed in ensemble method there is a base learner needed, memory efficient base learner is needed, because in ensemble we have to use more than one homogeneous or heterogeneous base learners. So some memory efficient base learner is needed. This is the first gap I found. And then in coefficient 3, overfitting issue is there. So I try to reduce overfitting issue. Then in feature selection, in generally information gain and Gini index concept is used. Here I need effective approach for feature selection method. Then in prediction strategy, in general, the authors used average value and majority of the class they used. Here, efficient approaches needed for this. Similarly, for concept drift also some efficient approaches needed. These are the gaps I found, and I applied all this in my research work. And this is my proposed work. And I did in 2 phases. One is building base learner, and the second one is building ensemble learner. And this is the architecture of my ensemble framework. And that survey paper, I published in Springer book series, and this proposed work I presented in an international conference and published in Scopus IEEE Explore. And this framework contains 2 parts, 2 phases. One is in the left side, it is having building base learner, which is called the Lash tree. In this, I used coefficient 3 and lasso regression and combined these 2 to build up this Lash tree. And in second phase, I developed ensemble bagging framework, which contains the Lash tree which I have constructed in the first phase, homogeneous learner I used here, and to find the concept drift I used a drift monitor. To give the result I applied the meta learner algorithm here. And this is my first research contribution, which has been published in Scopus journal. And this is a block diagram of first phase, that is building a Lash tree. This has the components like source data. The data may be either online data or offline data. If it is online data, directly it will come continuously, or batch by batch it will come at any time. So directly whenever it comes, it is passed to the pre-process for processing, and then it is passed to lasso regression for feature selection. Finally, the Lash tree is constructed. If it is used in offline mode, we cannot use the whole data at a stretch. Because we have to divide it into various batches, and each batch by batch we have to give it to the give it for pre-processing. Once the batch is used for pre-processing, that cannot be used again, because the condition is only single pass is there for streaming data. So once the batch is passed to pre-process and a lasso application is applied, Lash tree is constructed, it will not come again to the source data. It will go out in the next batch it will be like a simulation of streaming data. And here, the steps involved in Lash tree construction, it is done in 2 steps. One is feature selection using L1 regularization of lasso. The expansion for lasso is least absolute shrinkage and selection operator. Here, by applying lasso regression, the features are selected, and at that there k-fold validation is applied. K-fold validation means the batches divided into various k number of batches, and initially the first batch or the last batch is considered as test data, the remaining are considered as training data, and the error values find out. And then second batch of data is considered as considered for testing, and it goes on. It will go up to k number of values, and after selecting the features, Lash tree is constructed. And this is lasso regression. And here equation 1 shows lasso regression is the extension of multiple linear regression equation. Equation 1 shows the equation ya is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1, and it goes on. Here ya is the target variable, x1, x2, x3 they are predictor variable, beta 1, beta 2 up to beta n they are coefficients of the predictor variable. It will show the weightage of the relationship with the target variable. It is a slope in the line, in the linear line, and E is the error value and beta naught is model intercept. And to this equation, this lasso operation is applied, which is shown in equation 3. Here the target of the lasso operation is minimizing the coefficient of beta naught and beta. And for minimizing, lambda penalty value is applied. Lambda is the penalty, or it is also called the tuning parameter. That penalty value is applied to the error value. That is yi minus beta naught minus summation of, this is mean squared error. That is error obtained from the model. Here the error is trying to be minimized by applying lambda along with its coefficient of, along with the absolute value of coefficient. When the lambda value is 0, the whole term, no penalty is applied to the equation. So at the time, it will consider all the variables which follows by overfitting, which will be in overfitting. If the lambda value is equal to 1, then more penalty is applied there. Penalty value is more, and it will remove all the variables. So we have to choose the value of lambda from 0 to this one. So based on this value, the penalty value changes. And this is the workflow. Initially, the first batch of data is passed to the root node of the Lash tree. Initially, the tree will be empty. Only one node, root node is there. There it is passed. And there L1 regularization of Lasso concept is applied. If lambda is 0 means it will select all the variable. If 1 means it will remove all the variable. In between, it will find out the best significant variable, and it will find. It will build a Lasso model there. And k-fold cross validation is applied here, and it will select the RMSE value with the minimum Lasso model, and from that those features only are selected. That will be considered as best features for the tree construction. So insignificant variables will become 0. It will be deleted from the data set. So this is algorithm for Lasso, and this is the second step of Lash tree construction. After collecting the selected fields, the selected predictor variable, the tree will be constructed. At the root node, the best significant variable is placed at the root node, and then the second best will be at the next level. And in the leaf node, Lasso regression, that equation will be written. So for prediction, this equation will be used. Whenever a new data is passed to the Lash tree, it will go based on its value, and finally, using this equation, it will give the predicted value. And this is the workflow diagram of constructing this Lash tree. And this is algorithm. And for experimental setup, for implementation, I used RStudio 3.5.3 and 8 GB RAM, Windows 10 PC. These are the testing data sets I have used. One is solar plant data set, which I got from Trichy solar power plant. And then another data set from UC repository I got. And to prove the scalability of the model, I used a solar data set obtained from Australian data center. And these are the variables of solar. Left side, it is showing solar plant dataset. Right side, home appliances dataset obtained from UCL. These are the variables I took. And initially, both dataset are pre-process is applied. There, the missing value and the repeated value are replaced by mean value. And these are some of the screenshot of my implementation. And here, this shows the Lasso regression application for the solar power plant. And in this graph, x-axis log lambda is there, y-axis coefficients are there. The lines are the coefficient of the variables in the data set. And in the lines above the 0 are positive correlation, below the 0 are negative correlation. And from this, we have to filter out best variable by using k-fold cross validation. And this is the output for home appliance data set. And the cross validation is applied. And here for solar power plant, 7 variables are found as best variable. And there is only one vertical line. That vertical line is upper and lower limit of standard deviation. Here both are same, so only 7 variables we have to consider. And here in home appliance data set, two lines are there. The left side, that is a low value, 22 variables are selected there, and another line, 11 variables are selected. So we can take that 11 variables as significant variables, and then we can build the Lash tree. And this is the coefficient values of those data set, and this is the tree. And this is memory size. The memory size is obtained by counting leaf node, because the leaf node size, it depends it is directly proportional to the memory size. So here I count number of leaf nodes using this algorithm, and this is execution time algorithm. And for prediction accuracy, I used root mean square error RMSE value and mean absolute error value. And RMSE, it is the square root of difference between the predicted value. Xi bar is a predicted value, Xi is the observed value. This error is squared, then square root is found. This is RMSE value. It is very sensitive to the outlier. Then mean absolute error is absolute value of the difference is found. Here there is no square root, no squaring. Only absolute value. This is robust to the outlier. So I have taken these two measurements in my work. And this is the output of memory size. Here I have taken two standard algorithms, VFDT and CART algorithm, that is classification and regression tree. And the red line is the proposed last tree, and blue line is VFDT, and green is for CART algorithm. Here I plotted a graph for number of instances against number of leaf nodes. There the number of leaf nodes gives the memory size. And here I observed in VFDT comparison 18% of memory size is reduced. In CART algorithm 21% of memory size is reduced. And in homoplanes data set 19% of memory size is reduced in VFDT, 29% is reduced in CART. The accuracy will increase if we increase the number of data. And then in prediction accuracy, again the same lines. That is, the proposed work shows a less error. And when compared with the VFDT, 11% of accuracy is increased. When compared with the CART, 32% of accuracy is increased. And for solar power plant, 10% is increased when compared with the VFDT. 16% is learning time is reduced. 10% learning time is reduced with the VFDT. 16% learning time is reduced with the CART. As the size is reduced, learning time is also reduced here. And this homoplanes data set, 24% is reduced, 31% is reduced when compared with the CART. And the second contribution, that proposed last tree is used in second contribution. And this work is presented in international conference and published in Scopus journal, Scopus IEEE Explore. And this is the framework. The data here, it contains data stream, homogeneous, same last trees are there, drift monitor algorithms are there. It gives the last tree algorithm, it gives prediction value. Finally, the meta learner finds out the best one and it will give the final result. And the steps involved is first framework is built up, then meta learner is built, and they build in this is the workflow for ensemble bagging framework building. Here the first batch of data is passed to the root node, and the last tree is initial last tree is induced at the first stage, and then the second batch of data is given to the same last tree as testing data set. If it gives more error, it is considered as drift, occurrence of drift. If drift occurs, if there is more error, then that testing data is taken as training data and a new last tree is induced, and the process goes on. If it is outlier, if the error is due to outlier, we can keep the existing last tree as it is, no need to go for another last tree. Like this, n number of last trees can be induced. And when the limit goes, when the last tree goes beyond the limit n, it finds out the last tree which has a minimum RMSE value, and that last tree will be deleted. It will give a new room for the newly induced last tree. And this is algorithm for ensemble bagging. And this is for meta learner. So now the output obtained from last trees are given to this meta learner. The meta learner finds out the best last tree which contains a minimum RMSE value, minimum memory size, minimum execution time. It finds out. If it belongs to the same last tree, it will take the last tree as it is. If it belongs to a different last tree, means it will find the average and will tell the final prediction value. And this is the algorithm. And this is the result obtained for ensemble framework. Graph is plotted against RMSE and all the last trees. Here I induced 5 last trees. For solar power plant data set, it shows last tree 1 has minimum RMSE value. When RMSE is very minimum, that is error value is minimum, it will give good accuracy, prediction accuracy. So that can be used. And for home appliance data set, last tree 5 is considered to be the best. And here MAE value is found and a graph is plotted. And here again it shows the last tree 1 is good. Home appliance data set also, the last tree 5 is selected as a best last tree for prediction. And here also the performance is analyzed. Here the red line shows the ensemble framework using the proposed last tree. And then the blue is the ensemble framework using one BFDT. And then the green line shows the ensemble framework using ARCH. And here also it shows the number of nodes reduced here because the total number of variables or insignificant variables are deleted and then the tree is constructed. So the size, number of leaf nodes are less and the memory size is reduced here. And then the prediction accuracy is found. Here also RMSE value is less here. Since it is adaptable with the concept drift, it gives a less RMSE value. Learning time is also reduced. And this proposed work is applicable for a linear or non-linear data set. And since decision 15 tree is used, interpretation is good here. It reduces the overfitting of problem of 15 tree and underfitting problem of lasso regression. It improves prediction accuracy. It removes all the insignificant variables. The proposed work consumes less memory size. Learning time is reduced. It identifies concept drift and the model is dynamic, which is adaptable with the newly incoming data. And further scope for this research is in the stage, gradual drift alone is identified. Future idea is identifying sudden drift, incremental drift, and recurrent drift is considered for future work. And these are the publications. This is a technical survey publication which I published in UGC approved journal. This is a presentation certificate and this is publication. And another literature survey is published in Scopus journal. Scopus proof for that. And the literature survey is published in Scopus Index with Springer Nature book series. Lecture notes in network and system series. This is our paper. And proposed work is presented in the conference and published in IEEE Explore. This is presentation certificate and this is IEEE Explore publication. And phase 1 is published in Scopus Index journal. And paper phase 2 is published in IEEE Scopus Index and presented at the conference. That's a paper. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Christy. It's a precise and good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Now I will open the session for the participants. Any questions or clarifications from the participants based on the presentation? They can raise now and clarify.
Ma'am, this is Arun Yanaraj from Dubai. I am a senior architect and project manager. I really admire that the way you presented, and it's really a good work. I just have one doubt where in your presentation you mentioned that there is a last tree and decision tree, which when you look at it seems to be similar. Can you please explain the difference of these two? What is the last tree and decision tree?
In normal decision tree, they use information gain as a criteria for split up, and they used that value. In information gain, they found the value of entropy and they applied that. But in my last tree, I used lasso regression for criteria, as a criteria for node split up. From the lasso regression, I removed unwanted variable. All the insignificant variable are deleted, and then I build the tree.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I am Charles from St. Joseph's College.
Good afternoon, sir.
Really, I appreciate the precise presentation of the research scholar.
Thank you, sir.
Nice work carried out. She did elaborate study on the literature survey and compared all the methods and given very good explanation on those things. I have a few observations regarding your presentation. As your title could be on streaming data analytics, on the other hand, you have taken some kind of data set like
Yes, sir.
solar power data and the home appliances.
Yes, sir.
How actual or practical implementation could be done on streaming data? That could be elaborated on your thesis. I don't know. If you elaborated on the point of the thesis, it could be well and good.
Yes, sir.
Second point, second aspect, you taken some kind of regression. When the data is streaming, is there any number of variables you are going to decide or any time limit you are going to decide how this predicted variables will be fixed? This is one aspect. And second point, when the data is noisy or some data is missing, how could you handle that kind of data in a practical situation? You have taken very good steps to develop this tree, and that is also needed when it is a streaming data. How the tree is decided, it is based on time or certain quantum of data, something like that. So otherwise it will be a continuous process that you cannot go for immediate prediction. So that is what my observation. Could you elaborate these points? That could be better for the researchers. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The first question you asked is I used normal solar data set. Actually, in streaming data, we can do either in online data or in offline data. If it is online data, means directly we capture the data coming from devices and we apply our algorithm. Whereas if we use the stored data, offline data, the difference is in normal static predictive analytics, what we can do is we use the entire data set for analytics. We apply the whole as a stretch. But here we cannot use the whole because the condition for streaming data is only one scan we have to do, and we have to split the data set into various batches. And we have to take the first batch as and pass it to the pass it for pre-process, and that batch should not come again. It will be like a simulation of a streaming environment, and then the second batch is taken and it is processed and it goes out. We cannot take that batch again. Usually in streaming regular normal streaming live streaming data, the set of batch of data will come in. It is processed, and then some other time another set will come, it will be processed, and batch by batch it will take and process. Similarly here we are doing like a simulation. In that way we have to show the difference. And the second one is time limit. Time limit is 1 hour interval. In the solar data set, 1 hour interval is there. And for noisy data, a noisy data is outlier. Noisy data, it will be considered as overfitting model, because in overfitting model, the data will read all the data for training. It will also learn the noisy data also for training. So the output will not be good. So that I applied that regression to reduce that overfitting, and optimal fitting is found. Only that model is used for prediction. So the coefficient or the weightage of that outlier is minimized, or it will be removed.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. This is Dr. Aruna Devi from Raja Durasingam Government Arts College,
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sivagangai. First of all, I congratulate you for the fine work you have done and you have presented it very well. One of my question is, you have given the topic as ensemble meta learning, and you have also said that there are two types of meta learnings are there, like ensemble meta learnings are there, like bagging and boosting. Have you had any comparison between these two approaches for your study, ma'am?
No, ma'am. Only I preferred this bagging approach. I didn't touch that boosting because bagging is all the learners are used in parallel wise, whereas in boosting is a different approach. The output of one is given to another learner, and the output is given to another learner, and it goes on like a sequential order. The process is entirely different, but I didn't compare these two.
But based on a recent study, they say that compared to the bagging, boosting gives the more accuracy or in terms of performance for the algorithms, ma'am. So for your future study, you can consider these things also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So, if no further questions, let me raise some questions based on your presentation and also questions raised by the examiners. Okay. First, let me come to the questions raised by the examiners. I think it's very, very minimal. Okay. Only one question from one examiner, that is, why can't you consider other methods of removing the missing or handling the missing values? That is part of pre-processing method. So you have applied some mean value, median value computation for your noise missing value. You can adopt some other method to produce robust and effective model, like that here suggested.
Okay, sir.
Any point you want to clarify regarding this?
Yeah, I tried only. I concentrated more on this side, pre-processing side. I did only found the average of the values on which that I'll consider this, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, other thing I want to raise based upon your thesis evaluation is, I have gone through your thesis fully. It is first of all, let me congratulate you to write a very good thesis. Its
Thank you, sir.
presentation is very good and neat. I am able to read continuously because of the way in which you have presented your work. So everything is clearly mentioned, even the literature review grouped properly. And whenever you are proposing some
Right.
method, what is the reason for it, why you are able to achieve that result, that sort of elaborative writing is given in your thesis. It is very, very appreciable. Okay, let me congratulate for that neat
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you, sir. Only ma'am guided me from first page
Anyway,
till the end.
congrats to both the guide and the student. And some points, some clarification, because Professor Charles has asked the point I want to raise upon. You are claiming these three data sets as streaming data. Okay. So if the streaming data, though it is offline data you are taken from some resources, in real life situation, if the streaming data is going to be continuously coming, first of all, you are using the lasso model for regression. So it is going to be a continuous variable only. What about if it is a categorical variable in the data set?
I couldn't get, sir. For
If it is regression model you are adapting, can you
Yes,
use
sir.
this model for a categorical data set?
No, sir. Only for continuous values.
Continuous
I
value,
tried.
because you are using decision tree based Hofding model, isn't it? You
Yes,
are
sir.
combining that. So you are forming the, so if it is a continuous thing predicting for every value, it's going to be, a tree size is going to be enormous. And one more thing, how practically it is possible or viable in a continuous streaming data means, can you give a practical example of the streaming data where your proposed model can be applied? For example, energy data, you are telling 4 or 5 parameters are there, features are there, more than 5 features are there. What is your target variable?
Target variable is how much, if it is a solar panel means, how much energy will be produced from the particular setup of panel, that is solar panel. That is my target, to find out the energy prediction. How much
how
energy
much
it will
energy
produce. Energy it will produce. Similarly, for home appliance, how much
So
for a
it is
particular.
only continuous value prediction you are doing.
Yes, sir.
And all the input are continuous values only.
Yes, sir.
That is the assumption you are making. Okay, well, good. In table 6.5, you see the prediction accuracy is more with the increase in the number of instances, isn't it? You can see in the slide also, last slide, reset, last slide. Here.
This one, sir?
Prediction, this is accuracy. This is error rate, no?
Accuracy, that
This
is
is
RMS.
This is the error value, accuracy value, I'm telling. It is
No, sir,
given
actually in regression.
table 6.5 in the thesis. Accuracy is more or prediction error is less. That only here, yes, this slide only. Okay.
Yes, sir. Here in regression, that is classification, we directly find the accuracy value, sir. But in if we use regression model, we have to find the error value, because RMSE will find difference between the predicted value and observed value. It will tell the difference. If the difference is very less, means the meaning is the model is good.
Okay, prediction. That is not my question. My question is,
yes,
to see the number of instances.
Yes, sir.
When the instances are very less, the RMS value is more than it.
Yes, sir.
And more instances are coming, error is less. Okay.
Yes, sir, error is reduced, so accuracy is increased.
That means what we can conclude from this? The model is learning at when the number of instances at each instance, like that we can claim?
No, sir, that is when the learning time is when the learning data set is, we give it more, it learns a lot, so the difference will be reduced, so error that also will be reduced.
When you increase the number of instances, the error rate is reduced and accuracy is increased. That
increased.
Is like,
yes, sir.
So your model is able to learn from the past experiences or past instances. That is the okay. What is the batch size you are considering? How you are fixing the batch size?
File size you are asking, sir?
So initially you are claiming a batch size in the first work.
Batch size. For the solar data set, I took 1000 as a batch. In home appliance, I took 2000 as a batch. So based on the size of the data, we have to change the batch size.
So that only, it is not a standard one, or you are not following uniform. How can you decide based upon the data set?
This is from Hoeffding bond, sir. That Hoeffding bond, they used that bond to find this batch size. There they applied this bond. That is, they find the difference between the difference between the two predictor variables should be greater than this Hoeffding bound. So in that way, it is calculated and it is found.
Okay, since my question is regarding this Hoeffding tree, how you can select compared to decision tree? What is the advantage of this? Have you designed your model with the decision tree and then come to this Hoeffding tree? You have trained your model. Have you compared these two models?
Which one, sir? VFD.
Decision tree based on
no, sir. Decision tree I didn't touch, but the Hoeffding tree I compared in all the slides.
But my thing is, if you go for naive-based classification, because it is streaming data continuously, it is coming, you cannot store the past values. So naive-based algorithm may also give you some good prediction, I suppose. But I don't know whether you can. So we think it over. Other algorithms are possible. No?
Sir,
So, yes, sir.
answer. The problem is he took only RMSE as a measure for all those accuracy and other comparisons. If she taking yet another measure and comparing it, this problem could be solved. Because
Yes.
only she is depending on RMSE. So that
Yes.
may not give a correct result.
That's the thing. So different metrics she is comparing. Since RMSE is used, she is directly assuming accuracy is also more. That is the only assumption she is making. But other metrics also give some more clear picture about the
Yes,
system.
yes.
Okay, Christy, that's all from my side.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, shall I conclude?
Yes, sir, sure, sir.
Okay, so as I have mentioned earlier, the thesis is very well written, and it is very nice to read the thesis, and the way in which it is presented, it is good. And the scholar has carried out a novel work of applying lasso tree in the Hofding model, so that she can frame the E2MELA framework for classifying the streaming data. So she is able to handle three problems she encountered during the literature review, like a concept drift, overfitting, underfitting, and resource optimization. And based on the results obtained, she has achieved all the objectives fully. And also she has published her research findings in a good number of journals. One small suggestion is don't aim for the Scopus Index alone, aim for SCI journals also.
Yes.
That will give you more value to your work.
Thank you.
And other than that, you have presented your research finding neatly to these participants, and also answered all the queries raised by the participants and also the examiners who evaluated your thesis. And once again, it's good, and let me congratulate you for your nice presentation and also your guide for producing a good candidate based upon
you, sir.
your research work. So we, the panel of examiners, are very happy to recommend to the university for the award of doctoral degree to Christy, and Miss Christy Sujata may be called as Dr. Christy Sujata thereafter. All the very best and congratulations, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I personally thank you, Professor, for your kind participation and encouragements, for your exemplary conduct of organizing this public Viva Voce examination. Now our department is proud as you have collaboration in research with us. Thank you, Professor. Now I invite our head of the department, Dr. K. Mohan Kumar, sir, to felicitate the external examiner.
Good evening to all. My sincere thanks to our principal for her continuous encouragement for our department. I welcome the external examiner. He conducted this Viva Voce examination in a nice manner. We started our research work in our department only in 2016. So far we produced 5 candidates, 5 doctorate candidates in our department within this 4 or 5 years. Really, I thank all the members of our department. Now I appreciate Dr. Gnana Jayanti for adding one more candidate in our department to get a doctorate degree. I congratulate Dr. Sujata for her good research work and neat documentation. She explained lasso regression model, implemented lasso regression model in her framework. Very nice. And also, normally we are using only one data set to evaluate the performance of our research work. But she used a different kind of data set. Really, it is a very good and appreciable one. She explained everything in a simple manner. At last, I appreciate all the participants. They are listening our research work with more passions and many things. Thank you, Ananda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request all the participants to kindly give your attendance in the Google Sheet that is given in our chat box. Please check the chat box. And now Professor D. Christy Sujatha now becomes Dr. Christy Sujatha, wishes to propose vote of thanks. Christy?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty for the graces and presence that lead me in the right path. My heartfelt thanks to the Most Honorable Vice Chancellor and the Director of Research, Kalidasan University, for encouraging the research scholar by permitting to present the synopsis and thesis through online mode, with the parental intention of inhibiting us from the pandemic COVID-19 issue, which paves a way for me to submit my PhD thesis right now. I express my profound and sincere gratitude, deep appreciation, and wholehearted thanks to the eminent personality and my research supervisor, Assistant Professor Dr. J. Jnana Jayanti, PG and Research Department of Computer Science, Raja Sarfoji Government College, Tanjavur. I am grateful for her guidance, constant motivation and encouragement, insightful comments, invaluable suggestions, and support throughout the whole research period. I express my sincere gratitude to the Principal, Dr. Sendamil Selvi, Controller of Examination, Dr. V. Puhalendi, Assistant Controller of Examinations, Dr. L. Rajesh, and Head of the Department of Computer Science, Dr. K. Mohan Kumar, and all the staff members of the Department of Computer Science, Raja Sarfoji Government College, for their continuous support and timely help. I place a record of my gratitude to the doctoral committee members, Dr. R. Shivakumar, Principal, AVVM Sri Pushpam College, Undi, and Dr. Cruz Malichelvi, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science, Government Arts College for Women, Kumbakonam, for their constant encouragement, valuable guidance, and constructive feedback on my various reports and presentations, which helped me a lot to move on the right direction. I deposit my deep sense of thanks to Mr. G. Manivelu, Operation and Maintenance Engineer at Solar Power Plant Unison Energy India Private Limited, Uttarampatti, Trichy, who made it possible to get the right resource at the right time. I would like to convey my gratitude to the Most Honorable Esteemed Chancellor, Dr. K. Veeramani, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Velichami, respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Devadas, and management of Periyar Manimai Institute of Science and Technology, Tanjavur, for permitting me to do my research work. I sincerely thank Dr. P. Aruna, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Software Engineering, my dear fellow colleagues, and Ms. M. Sharmila Begum, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Periyar Manimai Institute of Science and Technology, Mr. Ramesh, Trainee Executive, SPI Technologies India Private Limited, Chennai, for their motivation and support. I register my special thanks and gratitude to my team members of research, Mr. Arun, Software Project Manager, Manimoli, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Application, Periyar Manimai, Sister C. Amali Pushpam, Vice Principal, Bonsakar Arts and Science College for Women, Dindukal, Mrs. Rojashri, Chief Executive Officer, Arangar Television, Urayur, who made it possible for me to work in a nice and healthy environment with their moral support. I gratefully acknowledge my family members, my husband, Mr. A. Rajmohan, my daughter, Ms. R. Jessica, and my son, Master R. Johan Derek, my relatives and friends for providing a great source of motivation and support. Finally, I would like to offer my special thanks to my parents, Mr. P. Dhanraj and Mrs. T. Priska, and parents-in-law, Mr. A. Arogyasamy and Mrs. A. Janita. Although no longer with us, I know they would be proud and I will forever be grateful to them. Thank you.